Welcome to Athar's Garage. In this video, I'll be working on the Schumacher LD3 stock spec, steps 22 through 25. So let's get started. So in the previous step, I talked about how I prepared my bearings, and I did the same for this step and for step 23. There's bearings in those, and I just took them out and cleaned them. I got all the grease out and oiled them. So on this transmission case half, if you look down in that hole, there's a flat. So that flat needs to line up with the flat that's on this pin here. So we're going to make sure that they line up and it sits properly, just like so. So all these bearings are the same. They're 5 by 10 by 4. We're going to go ahead and install 2 in the idler gear. And then we're going to go ahead and slide the idler gear onto that pin, and everything moves nice and free. Next, we're going to install the bearing onto the lay shaft or top shaft on this side. And then we're going to install this into this recess right here. Okay. That is step 22. We'll move on to step 23. Cool to see that the motor plate is made out of carbon fiber. Doesn't really flex, so pretty excited to see this. It's a nice upgrade piece that a lot of other buggies would have. So we're going to look on the side that has the countersunk holes. We're going to line up the spur gear cover and line the holes up with this hole here and this hole here. And then we're going to install 2 M2 by 5 flathead screws in those holes. And I believe they're 1.5 millimeter Allen. So we can go ahead and install that. This 5 by 12 by 4 bearing is going to install in this recessed hole right here. Now we can put the 2 transmission halves together. Top shaft is going to go through this bearing right here, so take note of that. So on this side, we're going to install 3 M3 by 16 button head screws in these 3 holes, and an M2.5 by 16 cap head screw in this hole. All right, everything moves nice and free like it should. So now we can install the motor plate onto the transmission. So we're going to line up these 3 holes here with these 3 holes here. And we're going to install 3 M3 by 12 flathead screws into those holes. All right, everything still moves nice and free. That's exactly what we want. So far, this is probably the best molding from all the manufacturers between Associated, XRAY, and Schumacher. For the transmission itself, everything moves nice and free without any trimming or modifications to the plastic. So pretty excited about that. That's it for step 23. We can move on to step 24 now. All right, so we have a flat spot on this top shaft. So you want to line that up with the flats on this spur gear adapter. So you can slide that on and make sure the flats line up. Okay, now we can install the spur gear, and I'm going to install it with the number facing outward. That way I know what size spur gear it is. It's a 71. So that is now on. Then we can install this little washer piece. We're going to make sure that the large diameter that is flat is going to face the spur gear. And then lastly, we'll install the M4 flange nylock nut. Once you feel it shoulder up, it's good. And that's it for step 24. And as you can see, the transmission moves nice and free and spins pretty freely. And it spins freely because I did clean out those bearings of the grease and oiled them. So definitely would recommend that. Now we can move on to step 25. We're going to need our chassis and bag number 25. We have 4 M3x8 flathead screws, 4 M3x10 flathead screws, and 2 M3x12 flathead screws. So for this first part, we're going to use 2 M3x8 and 2 M3x10 flathead screws. So we're going to line up this plastic piece here with these 4 holes. And we're going to use the 2 M3x8s in the outermost holes and 2 M3x10s in the innermost holes. And then this piece here, which I believe is aluminum, is the 4 holes here are going to line up with those 4 holes there. And since we are going into aluminum, it doesn't say in the manual, but we will install some blue Loctite. The M3x8s are going to go in the outermost holes, and the M3x12s will go in the innermost holes. And then make sure that these openings are going to face towards the rear of the car. So that's on now. We can install our transmission. So we're going to install the transmission and line it up with these 6 holes. So the front holes are going to take the M3x12 flathead screws. Middle holes will take M3x10, and then the ones in the back are going to take the M3x8 screws. All right, so that's it for step 25 in this video. Last thing I'm going to do before I'm done is make sure that transmission still moves freely. What I like to do is make sure every time I put a screw into the transmission that doesn't cause any binding, and it does not. So we are good to go. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Let me know down in the comments if you have any tips or tricks that'll help out the community. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.